Well, I was just telling my wife I got a call. So when I was back in politics in 2014, I meant obviously what I did in politics I could beat, but what I learned in politics formed the stable.ca. And there's hectic times right now. You know, when we buy the horses and we're trying to pay for them all and get people involved, it's frustrating. It's taxing on me. Then driving around the summer, much like we are right now, I love this time of year, but again, it can be a little. There's a lot of pressure, right? We have horses that we expect to do good, and when they don't, I blame myself. And you know, we always say we work as hard as we can to get the horses as good as we can, and what happens happens. And it really is. At the end of the day, I've been driving and training long enough that I get over it, but it still bothers me a little bit and eats away at me. But this is still my favorite time of year. I love going to their baby sales, looking at the babies with my wife and picking them out. That's great. Training them down, I have a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, and it's cold for all our trainers and riders. But still, I love it. This time of year, I love driving around and being with my kids and my wife on the road. But again, it's very taxing. And I just got a call from this elderly lady that I had met knocking on doors in Guelph. And she calls me every so often. I keep forgetting why. Sometimes it's easy to forget why I love the stable so much and why it means so much to me. Because you'll have a bad start or a bad weekend or a bad month. And you're down in the dumps and beat up and angry. And so this lady calls me and she just, I heard you bought a horse out east. Like, this lady is she has to be her late 90s. I'll tell you why in a minute. Her name's Helen. She lives in Guelph, and every so often she'll call me. And she said, I saw that you bought a horse for the Gold Cup. So she keeps up somehow on the internet, keeps up to what we're doing. She said, I saw you racing, and I know you're busy. I just wanted to wish you good luck. And my son and I are planning to come down to the barn someday. And I said, you're always welcome, Helen. And she said, I've always been blessed with good health. She goes, the only time I was ever in the hospital is when I had my son, and he turned 70 last month. 70 last month. Just the sweetest old lady, and it made me remember why I always do, and you're so busy, making lists and talking to trainers about how the horses are and where we're going to enter them and what we're going to race them in, answering emails to you, our clients, about how the horses did, what happened, what we're going to do to fix things, what's next, both in the stable, both outside the stable, buying babies, people sending us babies. You get locked into what's going on right now around you, and I forget sometimes about why the stable means so much to myself and my family, and getting that call from Helen really did that. So, we've had a good week. Maybe not the week we hoped. Obviously, West 52nd was poor last night. Some things to work on, quite a few things to work on with him. Nothing major, but obviously, I think we all know when West 52nd isn't at his best, he's at his worst. And what I mean is, if he's not at 100%, he just doesn't look good. Those races at Northfield where he was in, where he could do some damage, he just looked better, felt better. Then he was sick last week and raced, or 2 weeks ago. It took a lot out of him. We couldn't get him tight. You saw that, yes, raced good. We'll get into that in a minute. But West 52nd did not spend that money. Was flat this week. Another horse, I'd say similar in the approach to racing as West 52nd. Need to have her at 100%. Globetrotting, simply just a bigger, stronger filly, and she could go with a little less work. I just don't think that spend that money can. Compass Rose DC was good, but not awesome. And Ailsun had some real issues on the weekend. She absolutely does not like Scioto, but we're going to have to get her around it, because the trajectory, and I had a very extensive, we need to open it? I had a very extensive, this is disgusting.
Ew, that's hers?
She wanted it. No, I don't eat these things.
Don't eat that. Why would you buy that for her?
I'm getting chastised by my wife for buying this thing for my daughter. She wanted it. I think it's better than a bag full of Skittles.
No, I don't.
You don't? My wife hates hot dogs though, so we won't get into that another time. She just despises hot dogs. Does not like them at all. Whatever that thing is, my daughter's eating. So spend that money a little bit flat. Compass Rose, DC, and Ailsun. So Ailsun really struggles on that track, and we'll get into it right now. So here's the thing. Ailsun's probably our third best filly, and that's a good problem to have because we got some really nice fillies. Chris Beaver's got a couple of nice fillies. Some other people do. As it sits right now, Ailsun's probably what? Let's be honest, 5th or 6th filly in Ohio, going back to a track she races good at. But if we race her in the Buckeye our next start, she wins. There's only 13, 14, 15 fillies racing in the Buckeye. If she can do well in the next Buckeye, hold her position in the Sire Stakes, she can race in the Sire Stakes Consolation, the Buckeye Final, both of them. So mathematically, there's a lot that has to happen, but the possibility's there. Or we can continue on the track of the Ohio Sire Stakes. Long shots win all the time, and anybody can win any given day. We can do that. Just mathematically, to me, it made more sense to look at, and this was a conversation that James and I had, that Jason and I had, just about exactly what's best for the filly in the ownership. Is it best for the filly to race her against these horses again and hope she does better, knowing that she does get around Northfield Park a little bit better? Now keep in mind, her Big Mile 57 was the first stake of the year. All these other fillies are maturing also. So is it better to race her in the Ohio Sire Stakes and hope to get in the final and hope that she does good? Or is it better to be a little more pragmatic and say, Buckeye, if we win the Buckeye, it is in Scioto though, we have to make some shoeing changes. If we win the Buckeye,
You also won't be able to drive her.
then I also won't be able to drive her. It's when, next Tuesday?
No, I mean, if she makes the final.
What?
Trotting will be in the final.
Oh yeah, I won't be able to drive in the final. Yeah, I see what you're saying. She's not a hard filly to drive. I wouldn't be worried about that. I just think it's a smarter overall. We saw how watered down the Consolation was for West 52nd last year. That was a man amongst boys, and he was a boy himself. I just think looking at the potential to race in the Consolation with the ability to potentially race in the Buckeye final also with a good showing would be wise, I think. So we'll see. A lot has to go on over the next week. As I said, I had a lengthy conversation with one of our partners on Ailsun about this. He made some good points, and that's the other thing is that I don't mind when people send me the emails. These are all valid points, but you have to understand the mechanics of the horse, right? We can talk about, in theory, what is best, but we also have to factor in the horse, and that's something that, as I said to our client, no one on earth knows this filly better than I do. So I'm left weighing my odds in this regard. We'll get to that. As of right now, I believe she's destined to the Buckeye next week, and maybe the Buckeye after that if she does really well. If not, race her in the final Sire Stakes to try and secure a position for the Consolation is where I'm looking for Ailsun. Big news out of Sweden. Lawmaker's going to make his first start. A lot of clients ask us from time to time, what's up with Lawmaker? Do you ever hear anything? In Sweden, you don't have to qualify. You just have to enter them within a year, I believe. So Lawmaker is going to race Tuesday in Solvalla, right? Solvalla, Sweden.
1 o'clock their time, so it's like 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning, our time. Yeah, I'm sure somebody will have a replay.
I have it in my phone.
Amy has it in her phone. Anyway, I'm not really sure how to watch it. I'm sure it's very easy. ATG. Amy has all the instructions. I'll get Kelly to post them all in a minute. I'll get Kelly to post them all, and then we'll post all the instructions on how to do it. I don't know how to do it, so we'll be able to get you to be able to watch that race anyway Tuesday if you'd like. White Tiger makes his first start back since leaving New Jersey and being sick. His last start, you saw Spirit Dio race the other night. Her first start off of being sick. James thought she was a little flat, but she tried her last half 56-1, last quarter 28-2, being off 2 and a bit weeks and being off the virus. I was happy with her. I thought maybe James would be too. I think in hindsight, if he factored in the whole situation, he would have been very happy with her.
The lid on the water fell off.
All right, I'll get it in a second. What else do we got? White Tiger Racing Tuesday. We had a big week ourselves. Tuesday, I raced Fox Valley Shazam, and a couple of people were a little baffled by the way I said I was very happy with Fox Valley Shazam. And the reason I was so happy with her was because she did her work right. She didn't do it the best I've ever seen her as far as speed-wise, but she did it right, which means we're on the right track. So Fox Valley Shazam, that speed will come back. It didn't disappear. I mean, she's still fast filly. She only raced twice. I would suspect that she'll be 100% healthy and good for next Saturday in Sarnia, where she's going to race in the next grassroots. And then Canadian Titan, who is climbing the ranks of the stable quickly with a huge mile. I thought she could have finished it off, but I think that horse on the front, you don't usually see horses do that. Run the front. Hey, but what's she doing, sweetheart? Back it up the third quarter. So don't give her, don't let her eat that. Backed up the third quarter and then down the lane, took off a little bit. So give her a sucky. So Canadian Titan raced huge. Wednesday we took off. We jumped in the car and went to Ohio, chilled out for a night. Thursday we raced globetrotting. I think it's safe to say for this week anyway, globetrotting made the top of the list. That was some kind of mile. If you look at the whole program, you had the 2-year-old Ohio Fair colts. So this is the Sire Stakes. This is the best colts in Ohio. They went 2-1, 2 minutes. Fillies 58-59. Ava, put your tablet down. Deal with your sister, or I'm going to take it away from you. And then you had globetrotting 56-4. That was a pretty unbelievable mile, and the way she did it, I told everybody I just want to keep her out of trouble. The 5 and the 6 look sure-footed. They both look like they can leave a bit. I just followed them out, let the dust settle, put her on the front, and man, oh man, did she ever make quick work of them. She was awesome. Compass Rose DC race good, a little flat. You can see when you can't put that hard work into them leading up to the race, they just don't look as good. Whoa. Sucky. And then, what's that? We're going to have a short moment off here. Where is it?
In the big part.
Huh.
No, not that one.
I just look in this bag that has 700 zippers in it for something, because that makes a ton of sense. It's like a water bucket with compartments. Where is it? And who else raced? Compass Rose DC was good. Compass Rose DC was good. Finished second, but needs a little work, as you said, that hard work leading up to the race. And I know a lot of people were really disappointed with spending that money, but coming off the virus, she was sick that night. Coming off the virus, we went easy on her. And again, that track is really, really hard for the horses to get over. I looked left leaving the gate, and it's either head for the front or head to the back. After the way globetrotting had just raced the race before, I'm thinking to myself, these fillies have bounced back good. Yeah, Ailsun interfered and wasn't as good, flipped her palate. We knew that. But then Compass Rose DC was pretty good. Globetrotting was absolutely phenomenal. I'm thinking spend that money is going to be good too. I busted her over to the front. Next one came. She hates Scioto also, and it was a lot of work for her, and it took a lot of wind out of her sails. She was beat, a length for third? Overall, I thought she raced okay. Definitely below what our expectations are. So as I said to Jason, we scoped her after. Still tiny bit of mucus, not really that much to speak of. I said keep her healthy, train her up real hard. We'll get her back on the track of... and the one thing was, too, the track is so deep at... Scioto. Jason said, what about taking those flip-flops off her? You know, the ones she's worn since February. And I said, yeah, I think you're right. I think we're going to have to. And if you noticed in the mile, one of our clients noticed it too. You guys are sharp too. She was on the right line really hard. And that's a real problem when you're on the line like that. Here, honey, give her that. when you get on the line like that, obviously you slow down in the turns, right? Can't make any speed in the turns. Can't carry your speed getting into the last turn. Going into the last turn, it felt like I was up on top of them again. And then as we got to that turn, she fizzled back off them. So just little things we have to work on, but they cause big problems. So put her shoes back on for Northfield and get a little bit work done on her. Make sure she's healthy, make sure she's tight, and I think you'll see the old spend that money bounce back. If you look back in her videos in the winter, she had weeks where she was poor, where she didn't train that great, or where she made breaks, but training always brought her back around, and I think that's exactly what she needs right here, is just a strong regimen of healthy training. So she missed 2 weeks because she was sick. She didn't get to train hard in between. She'll be trained up very, very hard for next week, and I think you'll see a much better filly because of it. That was Thursday. Then Friday, we put on our overalls and our straw hat. We went to the Athens Fair. Oh my God, it was like 3 wide. They had a median, like a guardrail for a rail. It was something else.
Only for some of it.
Only for some of it.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun, and the kids had fun. Except that these fairs earlier in the summer don't actually have rides there. I think there was a couple of skunks with rabies and a goat there running around. But they're there today. Yeah, the rides are there today. So, but it was good.
They only had horses in the petting zoo.
Well, they did have a petting zoo. Cool.
We didn't.
So, we had a good showing, though. It was a great way to train the horses. And this is what's important about the fair circuit, is to train these horses up. Overdue Mission is coming in. That's an accent, so stay. Overdue Mission's coming into her next race. Razor sharp. That was an incredible... I had her shut down the whole way down the lane in Athens, mile and 2.3 at a piece. And they said 32 seconds. But when you got them by 10 lengths on a fair track and you're in the middle of nowhere, I mean, what do you have to gain? So I just kind of shut her down and let her idle to the wire. She made the top 10 list, first time maybe in her life this week, and deserves it. A big win in Bucyrus, and then a second place finish with Jason in Piketon. A winner by 9-10 lengths in Athens. Both her and Susie K. Susie K won by 24 lengths. Susiak.
You said 25.
24 and 3/4 is pretty much 25. So she won by 24 and 3/4 lengths and was good. She wasn't as powerful. That sounds a little silly, but she wasn't as powerful as I hoped. But she doesn't take well to these fair tracks. You know, she picks at herself a little bit. You know, yeah, quiet. And she picks at herself a little bit. And but she does her work. Obviously, you just obliterated them, and it was a bunch of people bring. You don't even have to qualify to go there. You just show up with a horse. And they went for $5,000 though, so they paid us $2,500 to train our fillies at Athens, and we were happy to. Very happy. I had a lot of fun. I love going to these little fairs. I said to the guy, I can't believe you showed up here. And I said, I'm from a small town. I love racing these little fairs, and it was a lot of fun. And I love going to them and meeting all the small town people, and they love horse racing so much in these towns in Ohio. It really is nice to go there. So we had fun on Friday, and then we went to the Lion King, and then I was a little embarrassed. Saturday, one of our clients, Marvin, came down, and I was at the movies with the kids, and he messaged me and said, you have another drive here tonight. I said, no, I don't think so. And he said, yeah. He sent me the program page. I had missed a drive, a stake race. Somebody had listed me on their horse. It ended up finishing 4th, so I was happy for them. But listed me on their horse to come drive, and I missed the race. I told the judges, I said I didn't pick up any catch drives at the Athens Fair. I wasn't expecting to get any at Scioto. He said, it's my fault. I should have noticed. But when you guys go on Track It, you'll notice that on Track It, they only show the entries, or the results in the United States. They don't show the entries. So there's no way for me to know unless I physically go on the track. Now, Jason showed me how to search on the USTA, so I guess I'll do that next time. The judges in Philadelphia had called and asked me to drive a couple of more horses next Thursday, which I said I'm happy to do the work if you want me to. I'm there anyway. Just a lapse in judgment by me. I dropped the ball on that one. Good for the gentleman. He said the guy that filled in did a great job. The horse raced well. I didn't know the trainer. I apologized to him and was happy that his horse raced well after. I would have felt bad if he didn't. So that was our Saturday night to start. I got there and raced Yes and West 52nd. Now, West 52nd was poor, as I said in another portion of the video. Tiny bit of mucus still, but just wasn't sharp. And this is where I made the correlation between West 52nd and spend that money a little bit. Obviously not, you're talking about fillies and colts and last year and this year, but just the way they approach the races, I think they need to be healthy and tight. Neither were, and both looked poor. So I think that's an easy fix. Get them cleaned up, get them healthy, get them trained up tight, bring them back to the track, and we'll do that with both of them. Good news is West 52nd didn't flip his palate. There was no issue with his palate. So we can work on that. There was a little bit of mucus still there. We can work on that. And then Yes came out and somebody said, Yes looked a little flat. I don't think so. He was another horse that was sick, coming off the virus. Not only was he a little sick, but he bled his last start. So he was racing for the first time ever on Lasix, off the virus, off 2 weeks, in with the best horses in Ohio. I thought that Yes raced absolutely tremendous, and I'll stand by that. I think he did. So he'll come back in 8 days to his track, place where he has the track record, the world record, coming in sharp, coming in tight, coming in on Lasix. I think you're going to see the best form of Yes maybe ever next Saturday, I hope. And hopefully we see West 52nd regain his former talent. Last time he was at Northfield Park, he trotted 154 and 2. Certainly no disrespect there, and certainly nothing to scoff at when it comes to ability and horses using it. So that was my week this week. Obviously Kevin raced some horses, Harry raced some horses, Jason raced some other horses, Spirit of Dio raced. We have a number of horses that are starting their first start for us this week. Elysium Lindy is going to make his first start this week. Arctic Force, still not 100% on that left hind, but the vet said she thinks it's just roughness on the sesamoid. We can continue to work on that. We made a few little shoeing changes in regards to Arctic Force. I think I schooled him in 155. He's coming in sharp, so let's see how he races on Tuesday evening. Miss Brampton Beast, I was unimpressed with her mile in the mud at Grand River. She's got the 8-hole, but she won't be sitting 8th on Tuesday night. We're going to race her and race her good. White Tiger makes his first start back in Canada in a year, a long time. White Tiger's going to race Tuesday night, drew the rail in the preferred 2. Just want to get him some bounce back miles. I know a lot of people are like, well, he should win. Just hold on. There's no gimmies when you're talking about these aged horses, these distaffers on a 5/8 mile track, especially on a horse coming in off 2 weeks. Sure, he schooled him 57. It's a long way from where they're going to go at Georgian. So I just want to see a good, flat, confident mile out of White Tiger on Tuesday. He's got a stake race coming up on the 21st, a rather important one. So hopefully we can have him 100% for that. So we have Brush Cuts on his way back also. Kevin says he's very close to going. We're trying to find a race for Don't Believe Me, Just Watch outside of Mohawk. And Kevin is adamant he doesn't want to race him at Mohawk, and I don't blame him. Don't want to race there and get chewed up by those horses. Hide him. Keep him sharp. Keep him good. Keep him thinking he's the best horse in the world, because he's going to be a very good little horse for us this year, and I suspect he'll come back good again next year. We have all the babies to talk about. We have I have a top 10 list this week. We have a lot to talk about. A lot going on, and a lot about to be going on. We have our new boy, Brave World, raced good last week. He's going to the Gold Cup and Saucer. Richard Moreau is going to send Mitch Turney down with him. They're going to take care of Brave World on Prince Edward Island. You're all welcome to go visit him. He's going to be stabled about 2 miles from where I grew up in Kingston, Cornwall, PEI. For those of you worried that he's at a farm in PEI, that's the exact same farm that Kyle Fellows' horse won Gold Cup in the year before last year. I can't remember which one. 2 years ago. That's where that horse was stabled also. So already a Gold Cup winner out of that farm. So hopefully we have some luck in PEI. We have a ton of other things coming up. Some things to talk about. Some changes that will be made to some of the horses. As I said, a lot to talk about. We'll be back in just a minute with all the stables, top 10 list, all the babies.